News update: Biden's green light for long-range missiles to Ukraine sparks fears of escalation. In a decision that has sent shockwaves across the globe, President Joe Biden has authorized the use of long-range missiles by Ukraine, raising concerns about escalating tensions with Russia. As Trump allies warn that Biden is risking World War III, the decision to arm Ukraine with these powerful missiles is drawing a mix of reactions. Today, we dive deep into the implications of this move, explore how it could influence the ongoing conflict, and examine whether we are inching closer to an international crisis with global repercussions. Stay with us as we break down the stakes and what this means for the world. Biden approves long-range missiles for Ukraine. The Biden administration has taken a bold step by approving the use of long-range missiles by Ukraine, effectively allowing Ukraine to target positions deep inside Russian territory, including the Kursk region where some 50,000 Russian troops are reportedly stationed. This decision has led to heated debate, with President Biden's supporters arguing it is a necessary measure to help Ukraine defend itself against Russian aggression, while critics fear it risks dragging the United States and NATO into a direct confrontation with Russia. These long-range missiles, including the ATACMS, Army Tactical Missile Systems, have the capacity to strike targets well beyond Ukraine's borders, providing a significant tactical advantage to the Ukrainian military. However, this also raises the stakes dramatically, as Russia has interpreted this move as direct U.S. involvement in the war. The Kremlin has accused Biden of throwing oil on the fire, claiming that such actions may escalate the conflict into a wider war. For Ukrainians, this assistance comes at a critical time as they face increased Russian threats in the eastern regions. Trump allies warn of World War III. Allies of former President Donald Trump have been vocal in their criticism of Biden's decision, warning that it could lead to World War III. They argue that by authorizing the use of long-range missiles, Biden is risking a direct military confrontation between NATO and Russia. The incoming Trump administration, should it come into power, could further complicate the situation, as analysts suggest that a change in U.S. leadership might alter the dynamics of U.S. involvement in Ukraine. Trump allies emphasize that the use of U.S.-provided long-range weapons against Russian targets is a provocative move that could force Russia to retaliate more aggressively, possibly targeting NATO member states. This scenario raises the alarming prospect of a broader war that could involve multiple countries and potentially bring nuclear powers into direct conflict. With the rhetoric from both sides heating up, the question remains whether cooler heads will prevail to prevent an all-out war. Russia's reaction: U.S. participation in the war. Russia's foreign ministry has responded fiercely to Biden's green light for Ukraine, stating that the use of long-range missiles against Russian territory constitutes direct U.S. participation in the war. Moscow's interpretation of this move as an escalation by the United States puts additional pressure on the Kremlin to respond. The Russian government has hinted at a harsh military response, though what form that might take remains uncertain. This rhetoric highlights the dangerous brinkmanship currently playing out between two nuclear powers. The situation is further complicated by the presence of around 50,000 Russian troops in the Kursk region, a potential target for Ukraine's newly approved missile strikes. Should Ukraine strike Russian soil with U.S.-supplied missiles, it could be seen as an act of war not just by Ukraine, but indirectly by the United States. This raises the risk of Russian retaliation, which could include cyber attacks, increased military strikes, or other unconventional methods aimed at weakening Western support for Ukraine. NATO's role and reaction from allies. As tensions continue to rise, NATO is working at pace to deliver on commitments made to Ukraine, according to Mark Rutte, the Dutch Prime Minister. NATO's involvement is crucial in ensuring that Ukraine has the support it needs, but the alliance also walks a fine line between assisting Ukraine and avoiding direct conflict with Russia. NATO's efforts are being closely coordinated to ensure that support does not inadvertently trigger a broader conflict, but the delivery of long-range missiles complicates this balancing act. Germany's foreign minister has also hailed Biden's decision, describing it as a necessary step to help Ukraine stand its ground against Russian advances. However, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's fallout over the decision continues, as concerns grow about the potential consequences of this escalatory step. NATO countries are united in their support for Ukraine, but the diverging opinions on how far to push Russia without provoking a full-scale conflict reveal the challenges of maintaining a cohesive strategy. Ukraine's strategic gains and challenges ahead. For Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the approval of long-range missiles is a much-needed boost for the embattled nation. During a recent visit to Pokrovsk, an embattled city in eastern Ukraine, Zelensky emphasized the importance of standing firm against Russian aggression. The ability to target deep into Russian-held areas provides Ukraine with a strategic advantage that could help turn the tide in contested areas like the eastern Donbass region. However, the risks are equally significant. Using these missiles to strike Russian territory could lead to an escalation that Ukraine might find difficult to manage without even greater international support. The Ukrainian military is aware that every action they take now has the potential to either push back Russian forces or provoke a reaction that could lead to greater destruction. The stakes are at their highest, and every decision is being weighed with caution. Documents reveal Russia's initial peace deal proposal. Amidst these escalating tensions, newly revealed documents have provided insight into Russia's initial peace deal with Ukraine, which equated more to a surrender than an actual agreement. The terms reportedly demanded that Ukraine cede significant territory and accept a neutral status, effectively stripping the country of its sovereignty. This revelation has only fueled Ukrainian resolve, as it underscores the unwillingness of the Ukrainian government and people to accept anything less than full independence and territorial integrity. These documents have also led to increased international support for Ukraine, as they demonstrate Russia's true intentions in the conflict. The so-called peace deal was essentially an ultimatum that would have forced Ukraine into submission, further justifying Ukraine's continued fight and the support it is receiving from Western nations. The global community, particularly NATO allies, sees this as a clear indicator of why Ukraine needs to be empowered to defend itself against any form of Russian coercion. The global stakes: are we on the brink of a larger conflict? The decision to arm Ukraine with long-range missiles raises the stakes for all involved. The Kremlin's assertion that Biden's decision amounts to direct U.S. involvement in the war could push both nations into a dangerous escalation. Analysts warn that the risk of miscalculation is growing, with the potential for an unintended incident spiraling into a full-scale conflict involving multiple countries. The incoming Trump administration, if elected, could further alter the U.S.'s approach, adding another layer of unpredictability. As the war intensifies, the impact is being felt far beyond the battlefields of Ukraine. The ripple effects are threatening global security, economic stability, and even food supplies, with many countries relying on grain exports from the region. The question remains whether the international community can step in to de-escalate tensions before it's too late. Diplomacy may be the only path to prevent the world from slipping into a larger and more devastating conflict. President Biden's decision to authorize long-range missiles for Ukraine marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing conflict, significantly raising the stakes for all parties involved. While it strengthens Ukraine's position against Russian aggression, it also brings the world closer to the brink of a larger confrontation. With Trump allies warning of the potential for World War III, the risks of escalation are becoming more evident. As global tensions reach a boiling point, the need for careful diplomacy has never been more crucial. If you found this analysis insightful, please subscribe, like, and share to stay informed on the evolving Ukraine-Russia conflict and other critical global developments. Your engagement helps bring these important stories to a wider audience, ensuring that we all stay informed and aware of the world around us.